Candace Owens decides to make some comments about Sonya Massey and the police shooting. So let's take a look at what she had to say, and then we'll talk about it on the other side. Let's take a look.
This woman was not mentally wrong. Even if she did throw boiling water at you, I don't see how saying, she said, I will rebuke you. I think she said, in the name of the Lord. And then he says, no, you will not, because I will shoot you. I mean, that is like very extreme, very aggressive. And he then proceeds to, she says, I will shoot you in the face. I mean, that's just like, what are you even talking about? Over a woman with boiling water. Now, parking that aside, of course, as I have said since the beginning of time, there are mistakes that police officers are human beings. There are mistakes that happen.
Okay, let's stop right there. So, in this sense, she's doing a sleight of hand. So she's trying to get some emotional and even kind of human kind of association with police and mistakes. Now, this may hold water if these mistakes appear to be exclusively directed or happening in Black communities. Now, she's right, mistakes do happen. However, we have seen many opportunities where police have been able to restrain themselves in their interactions with people who weren't Black. So the mistake card is a talking point of the right that exonerates all police, really of any wrongdoing. So let's continue.
And the idea that now you're going to use this situation, and all the usual suspects are already involved. We know that Attorney Crump is already involved.
Another thing, to blame the family or Attorney Crump for coming to the defense of these people does not invalidate what has happened. If anything, having a person like Attorney Crump on your team gives more credibility to your claim. But to just say that because Crump is involved, that it makes it lack credibility is just a ridiculous thing to say, not taking into account any of the facts of the situation, just saying that Crump is involved. So it has to be something, something cynical or something that is just not correct. An interesting but normal pivot of the right in discussing these types of police shootings. But let's continue.
To then try to make Black Americans believe that this happened simply because she was Black is pointedly.
So, once again, another sleight of hand. Black Americans in general understand that police shootings do happen. We've been dealing with these situations for a very long time. We've been dealing with policing in our community a long time. And there are certain situations where police shootings, are justified. If someone, has committed a crime or someone has, harmed someone, and this is doing some type of investigation, this is doing some type of pursuit, something of that nature. I think by and large, Black people can understand that sometimes can result in a police shooting. What Black people are extremely upset about is not the criminal that's running down the street. It is a person that's minding their business. It's the person that is not committing a crime. It's the person that's actually in their own home, like Sonya Massey, and called the police to get help. How do you go from calling the police because you are a victim or you feel as though there's something has happened or is going to happen, and you call the police for assistance and you end up being the person that's killed? So it's not the fact that any any person is killed or shot by the police. It's the fact of so many unarmed and people who are doing nothing more than just being common, regular citizens and soliciting the help of police and of law enforcement, or just simply complying or being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Those people are getting shot and killed. That's where the outrage is at. It's not just by and large violence, inflicted on our communities. It's the type of violence and the uncalled nature and the unarmed person, black person, is an indication of a larger problem, which is the view of black people in law enforcement and racism throughout the country. Let's continue.
Yes. So I am saying to Black Americans today, do not take this bait. Yes, what happened in this situation, I think he's going to have a very hard time.
Do not take the bait. So do not take the bait. What exactly does that mean? Does that mean that we should just disregard anything that happens to any of our folks? That we should just ignore it? Taking the bait is kind of implying that this is not a real thing. This is not a serious thing. It's not a serious thing for for the family. That this is not a serious thing for any black person that comes in contact with law enforcement. This is a symptom of a larger problem. But taking the bait in many ways feels like she's minimizing and marginalizing the feelings and emotions of black people. And it's just not a position that really makes much sense when you look at our history of law enforcement in this country. We'll continue.
This officer saying that he absolutely felt so threatened by boiling water that the only solution was for him to mindfully say, I'm going to shoot you in the face, and that's what he did. I think that it's going to be a very steep hill to climb. But the reaction from Black America cannot.
There's something that we agree that if this officer was able to mentally calculate and give direction and orders to the person, then they should have been able to get to a safe distance, to take a step back, to move away. Anything other than I'm going to shoot you in the face should have not been the first response from the police officer, which begs the question of how this police officer just interacts in Black communities towards people of color, for that to be the first thing that comes out of his mouth, whether threatened or not, real or not. It became antagonistic from the officer directed towards her. And how does this play out every day in the streets? We'll continue.
Exactly what they want. There's a reason that whoever is in control of Joe Biden's account is still tweeting about this. Okay, it's because they think we're stupid. They think we're emotional. I think that we always respond illogically and emotionally, and that it's an easy way for them to show up votes by saying, "Oh, look, forget that we've destroyed everything around you and that we got you to burn down your neighborhoods."
Okay, so Joe Biden, and she's going to talk about this in a second. So Joe Biden sent a tweet out pretty much condemning the shooting, offering his condolences, things of that nature. Candace is saying that we should not fall for this trick, that we should not vote for Joe Biden or the Democrats just because they have offered some sort of apology and have spoken on and highlighted that there is a problem with just Black and brown people just not feeling safe in our dealings with police, that somehow them stating this is some type of trick just in order to get votes. That is her position. I don't really agree with it, but I'll talk about that in a second.
Burn down your neighborhoods in 2020, and then obviously stole a bunch of money because that money actually went to making your neighborhoods better. And so now those communities are desolate. Forget all of that because
once again, absolutely ridiculous and has nothing to do with what actually happened. Referencing the 2020 referencing the 2020 racial reckoning summer that centered around the George Floyd killing was has continuously been a talking point for the right wing to say that Black people were just just indiscriminately just burning down our communities, and somehow that the protesting was connected to the burning and the looting, which it absolutely was not. There's no evidence that anyone that actually was protesting participated in actually doing any of the harmful things that happen at night. I mean, if you were someone that lived in a big city or took part in any type of protest, then you understand that the protests normally happen during the day. They happened during the day. They were almost always peaceful. They were almost always involving a coalition of Blacks, whites, of people who cared about what was going on in the country and wanted to show solidarity to Black people. This is what the protest was about. But also, it happened during the day. Most of the protests happened during the day. Now the clashes and the looting, all of those things happen at night. But there is no direct correlation between the protesting in the daytime, which was very, very structured, very coordinated. Myself, I was a part of many of these protests, and they were very structured. So the clashes happened at night, the looting happened at night, and it did not involve the protesters. It involved people who use that opportunity to do harmful things, which I'm not disregarding. But what I'm saying is that they are not the same. The protesters and the looters, by and large, were not the same people.
Look at another video, and this means racism is back, and because we're going to show you how emotional we are.
Racism is back. Did racism ever leave? Maybe that's a question that I need to ask our viewers. I mean, did racism ever leave, and is the video just an indication that racism is back? I don't believe racism has ever left. So just a video is more of an indication of a larger problem. But I do not believe that racism has ever left the United States. And racism is felt in many forms. But to suggest that as a result of this this harmful, terrible incident, that now Black people are going to be like, oh well, wow, now racism is Black. I think that you don't understand how Black people think. You obviously don't understand how Black people go about their daily day-to-day lives. I mean, we are absolutely aware that racism exists. So this is not some ploy to get us to think or believe that no, racism doesn't exist, and now we believe that it does. I can assure you that Black people, by and large, believe that racism continues to exist.
That's exactly what Joe Biden did. He tweeted this on his. He wrote, Sonya Massey, a beloved mother, friend, daughter, and young Black woman should be allowed today. Sonya's death at the hands of a police officer reminds us that all too often Black Americans face fears for their safety in ways many of the rest of us do not.
So, I want to run this back just a little bit, just so I can just kind of touch on this. So, so this was a tweet from Joe Biden, and I think it's very interesting that someone like Candace Owens will say that Joe Biden, put this tweet out here to kind of like pacify, Black people, and to say that Sonya's death at the hands of police officers remind us that all too often Black Americans face fears for their safety in many ways the rest of us don't. Who doubts that? Like that's not a disputable statement. Black people, by and large, face fears for their safety from the police that many of the other people just do not. That is a fact. That is not conjecture. That is not that is not some made up type of feeling. That is a fact. Black people, by and large, do face fears that other groups just does not. But the idea that this was said, just to be able to gain some type of favor is absolutely just insulting, but also it's putting a type of label and emotion on somebody's response that you are not 100% not 100% sure that this is the reason why why Biden even put this statement out. What I do know is that I personally, and someone can correct me in the comments if they want, but I would rather have someone offer their condolences than someone that doesn't. So by and large, Democrats offered their condolences to Sonya Massey. Republicans did not. So we can talk about the perception of both parties as being one and the same, and of them having a lot of the same qualities, but in all actuality, it's hard to say that they are the same when one party offers condolences and the other party offers silence.
The rest of us do not. Sonia's family deserves justice. I am heartbroken for her children and family as they face this unthinkable and senseless loss. I mourn with the rest of the country, and our prayers are with Sonia's families, loved ones, and community during this devastating time. Okay, again, going to say here, this happened in Springfield, Illinois, that the only reason whoever is in control of his account is putting that out there is because too many Black Americans are turning toward Trump.
So Black Americans, too many, she says, are trending or turning towards Trump. And some way, this statement is supposed to stop those folks from trending towards Trump and somehow now trend towards Biden or the Democrats because of a tweet. It's insulting. It's insulting to Black people. It's insulting to the intelligence of our voting bloc. It's totally insulting to say that a tweet is now going to change somebody's view. And I do not, I don't dispute that there are Black people, because I hear it all the time. So I don't dispute that there are Black people who are leaning towards Trump, or at least at least say that they're leaning towards Trump. I think that part of that is just folks just want to sound clever and want to, pretend or portray themselves as having some form of knowledge and wisdom that you guys on the other side do not have. But I do not believe that that a tweet is going to change people's voting motivation. It seems insulting. It seems like you just don't really, you don't really think that Black people by and large can think for themselves, and that the layers and the different types of Black people is going to respond just in one way because of one tweet. That sounds ridiculous, but I'll go on.
Too many Black Americans are catching on to the Democrat scam, and so and so they scan every one of these situations, and they
catching on to the Democrat scam now. Scan. I did the same thing that she did. Scam. It's a very interesting and a very common talking point of the right, is that there is a scam going on, that Democrats are tricking Black people into voting for them, that there are some kind of way has this clever bait and switch to be able to get Black people to vote for them. I don't believe that is the case. I think that Black people vote for the party that best represents the needs, the wants of their communities, and a party that makes an attempt to deliver on those needs and wants. Now, does that party deliver everything? No. Is that party perfect? No. But I think that the Democrats have more of a platform that is centered, and I would say centered around the needs and the issues that are relevant to Black people. They are speaking on and making attempts to try to change the things that are relevant to Black people, specifically relevant to Black people. However, the other side, the Republicans, they don't speak of first any type of initiative that centers around Black people or has Black people even in the conversation. So there's absolutely no motivation to follow anything Republican on, in my opinion, just because they have shown no desire to even attempt to have conversations with Black people by and large.
hard facts. The hard facts are that if you examine this just based on a percentage rate, white Americans unarmed are more likely to be shot and killed by police officers in mistakes, shot and killed by police officers in these correspondences than Black Americans. That is a fact.
That itself is not a fact. The facts are actually much different than what Candace Owens is alluding to. So she's saying that by and large that that white people by percentages is more likely to is likely to get shot is just it's just a statement that lacks facts. It lacks it lacks I'm trying to pull this up real quick. It lacks nuance, and it lacks the actual it lacks the actual hard facts of Black people in this country. I wanted to pull up the website, but I'm going to pull up the stats. So and this comes from statistics.com. It says from 2017 to 2024, 425 whites were killed by police. Make sure y'all understand the numbers. It says 253 were killed. Black people were killed by police. So quick, just some very quick, quick math is 425 minus 253. So white people in the span of 2017 to 2022, 172 more white people were killed by police than Blacks. Now, just on its face, you're like, well, yeah, that means that white people is more likely to be shot by police. However, when you look at the population, so the population is roughly 229 million white people in the country. Only 45 million Black people in the country. So white people outnumber Black people in this country roughly 5 to 1. But so Black people, based on a percentage, have a much higher percentage of being shot and killed by the police. So she's saying, and you have to be careful of what these these conservatives spit out. They spit out these words, but they never ever give you facts. They never ever give you references. This is from statistics.com, a website that charts police shootings and police killings based by race. So these are facts. These are not just talking points. So what she said was, she just said something that was incorrect. It was not true. That by percentages, Black people are far more in some ways 3 to 4 times likely to be shot by a police officer than white people.
It's an inescapable fact. There's no way to examine the statistics and not
no way to examine the statistics. I just gave you the statistics, Candace, and you are absolutely mind-boggling, and in many ways probably purposefully wrong about wrong about the numbers. I mean, here, I don't know if you guys can see this, but here's the numbers. I mean, the numbers do not, the numbers do not lie. It says, it just absolutely just does not lie. I mean, you can go on here and check it out. Like I said, this is on statistics, statista.com. It tracks different types of statistics. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick. So I mean, it pulls it up right here, right away on the screen, tells you, the amount. Says sadly, the trend of police shootings in the United States seem to be increasing with a total of 469 police being shot, 90 of whom were black. This is in 2023. But it gives you all of the stats on police shooting, by race. So if you're looking at the total, like I said, from the total just gives you a different picture of what is actually going on. So, but let's finish talking to Candace.
Understanding, okay? But I want you to know that there's never been a time ever on his timeline where he has shared anything about a white person being killed on by a police officer because it doesn't feed their narrative. So stand.
So she wants Biden to put on his timeline about whites being killed by police, um, unarmed, if you would say whites being killed by police, and he doesn't put this on there because it doesn't fit his narrative. However, facts don't lie, but based on the facts, this is something that is a problem, So, based on the numbers, it may be something that needs to be examined. Police shooting of American citizens in general needs to be something that's examined. However, the fact that you're 5 or 6 times likely to be shot if you're black, there's something that needs to be drilled down and dug deeper into understanding what that reason is, and how we can work towards changing that.
Up to this, okay? And all you have to do is be mentally forthright. Do not fall for the scam. Do not run out of your house. Do not burn down the Springfield, Massachusetts. Instead, demand that Joe Biden make an appearance and let us know who has been in control of the White House all this time.
What in the world is she talking about? Joe Biden needs to make an appearance. I mean, as far as I know, Biden makes appearances all the time, but he needs to make an appearance to tell us who has been in charge of the White House all of this time. What in the world is Candace Owens talking about? Like, what is she talking about? What is she trying to imply? What is she trying to make you believe? Is she trying to sound clever? Like it doesn't make any sense. It has nothing to do with the topic. She's just using it as an opportunity to just try to make it try to make a dig at, try to throw a shot or dig at Joe Biden, for whatever reason, but it has nothing to do with the conversation. But it is something that the right and conservatives, that they try to just make these ridiculous pivots to who's running the White House now, because she doesn't believe that, I guess, Joe Biden is running the White House. I'm confused, but we probably got 6 months of Joe Biden, but it is just an absolute mind-boggling like pivot to who's running the White House. This is what she wants to hear from Joe Biden. And wait, before I even start that, I want to touch on again just about how there are no words that express condolences from the Republicans. There just isn't, and that to me that's problematic. Because Candace Owens can sit here and she can talk about what she believes, or why she believes that Joe Biden or Kamala Harris or any of the number of Democrats reached out and gave their condolences to the Massey family and to Sonya Massey herself. She can sit here and she can make up all these reasons in her mind and make up all these different scenarios on why a condolence was given. However, I personally, I will accept a condolence from someone in versus a person offering no condolence at all. Like, come on, like, what are we talking about? Like we're talking about a party that just does not even care that citizens are being killed by the police. Like, the party just doesn't care. So you're telling me that you accept, by and large, a silent number of Republicans on an issue of someone getting killed, even if you do not think that the shooting was unjustified. Offering condolences is a human kind of interaction, and to say that you follow or you give more kind of respect to the people who don't offer condolences versus the ones that don't, that's just a problematic and just a once again a mind-boggling just a mind-boggling stance to take.
And even if she did throw boiling water at you, I don't see how saying, she said, I will rebuke you. I think she said in the name of the Lord. And then he says, no, you will not, because I will shoot you. I mean, that is like very extreme, very aggressive. And this means racism is back. And we're going to show you how in ways many of the rest of us do not. Sonya's family deserves justice. I am heartbroken for her children and family as they face this unthinkable and senseless loss. Jill and I mourn with the rest of the country, and our prayers are with Sonya's families, loved ones, and community during this devastating time. Okay, again, going to say here, this happened in Springfield, Illinois, that the only reason whoever is control of his account is putting that out there is because too many whoever is control of his account is putting that out. And going to say here, this happened in Springfield during this.
So I want to stop it here for a second. So wait, let me run this back right here. So this is a part of this that's important. So the last sentence is absolutely important, and that is part of Joe Biden's part of his tweet is that I commend the actions taken by Springfield State's Attorney Office while we wait for the case to be prosecuted. Let us pray to comfort the grieving. So once again, due process by the law. We are not we're not taking a stance on whether or not it was correct. But what you're saying is that we are offering comfort for the grieving family. And the last line is Congress must pass a George Floyd Justice and Policing Act to increase trust and accountability in America's police force. Why is that controversial? Why is that something that everyone doesn't want to see done? And the fact that, once again, for those who do not understand how American politics work and did not pay attention in civics class, Congress elects laws and that have to be voted on, and then they are signed into law by the president. So Congress is the one that has been blocking the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. And the fact that anyone will be against the Justice and Policing Act, just shows how they feel about Americans, to the point of who doesn't want to increase the trust and accountability of America's police force? Like, why would you not want that, just as a whole, for the larger American population, let alone Black people. I mean, because Black people are not the only people that have contact with police, but to have some type of guidelines, who goes against that? And Congress, which is controlled by the Republicans, refuses to pass the Justice and Policing Act. Why? So when people talk about the differences, there being no difference between the parties, we have one party, the Democrats, that are making an attempt to change legislation, change laws, pass the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. You have another party that is totally obstructionist and will not allow something like that to happen. How do you say that both parties are the same? How do you say that you can support one? How can you say that there is some type of equivalence to both parties? It appears that the one party, the Democrats, is pushing for justice and policing, and the other party is not. How do we even have a dialogue about this and not really speak on the facts? And the facts is one group is making an attempt, and another group is not. And how successful that attempt is, you should not disregard the attempt. And I think that's one of the major issues is, people are looking at, they're saying, well, things are not being done. And it's like, who's actually attempting to get these things done? It's pretty clear who is making attempts to get things done versus who is not making attempts to get things done. And when you're looking at a party looking at a organization, a party, a political philosophy, you have to look towards who best represents your ideals, who best represents what can positively affect your community, what party represents that. But that doesn't mean that that party is perfect. It doesn't mean that that party controls everything. It doesn't mean that that party cannot be criticized. But what it means is that in an unperfect world, we have to choose the party that best represents our values. We have to choose a party that best represents the things that we value. And for me, I'm going to value the party that wants to pass the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act versus the party that doesn't.
I'm going to say here, this happened in Springfield, Illinois, that the only reason whoever has control of his account is putting that out there is because too many Black Americans are turning toward Trump. They think too many Black Americans are catching on to the Democrat scam, and so they scan every one of these situations and they leave out the hard facts. The hard facts are that if you examine this just based on a percentage rate, white Americans unarmed are more likely to be shot and killed by police officers in mistakes, shot and killed by police officers in these correspondences than Black Americans. That is a fact.
That is not a fact. Where's your fact at? Cite this fact, Candace. It is absolutely not a fact. And what's absolutely ridiculous is there are literally hundreds of websites that are dedicated to this very specific question about use of force, about police brutality, about the amount of Black people that are killed by police versus other groups, and not just Black, white. You got Black, you have white, you have Hispanic, you have a multitude of groups. There are hundreds of websites, university studies that absolutely refute everything that she is saying. What she's saying is absolutely, positively incorrect, positively a lie, absolutely a lie. There's no number, there's no study, there's nothing that you can pull up to say that white people are more likely to be killed by police. There's no metric, and I would challenge any of my followers, any of my commenters, to find me a website. I'm not even gonna say a reputable one, but just find me a website, find me some type of peer-reviewed scholarly research from some type of university, from some type of credible source that says that white people are more likely to be shot and killed by police, unarmed or armed, are more likely to be shot and killed by police. Source me. I showed you a source. She's absolutely positively wrong on this. But this is I just want to really kind of reiterate, this is a tactic of the right wing to just say stuff. All they have is a list of talking points. All they have is talking points. They have they never reference. I challenge you guys to listen to these right wingers, these conservatives. They never reference anything. They just talk. They never reference a study. They never reference any type of evidence, and they present it as a fact. How is it a fact? Explain to me how it's a fact. If you explain to me that if you're going to say something is a fact, then that fact should come with some type of evidence. That fact should come with some type of proof. That fact should not just be the fact that you said the word fact. That's not how rational, realistic people try to prove things. You can't prove things just by saying it. But a tactic of the right wing and conservatives is to just repeatedly say it. I repeatedly say it, that means it must be true. I repeatedly say there was some type of election interference. I just keep saying it. It's zero fact. I can't pull up not one single piece of evidence that says that there was a corrupt election. But they say it, and they want to try to get it baked into your head, but never offer any proof, never offer any realistic evidence. And the proof is just in Donald Trump. I mean, Donald Trump just says things and has zero proof. It says things and just people run with it, but absolutely no proof of what she's saying.
It's the whole fact. There's no way to examine the statistics and not come out with that understanding. Okay. And they don't want you
No way. I just found a way, but okay.
to. There's never been a time ever on his timeline where he has shared anything about a white person being killed unarmed by a police officer because it doesn't feed their narrative. So stand up to this, okay? And all you have to do is be mentally forthright. Do not fall for the scam. Do not run out of your house. Do not burn down a neighborhood in Springfield, Massachusetts. Instead, demand that Joe Biden make an appearance and let us know who has been in control of the White House all this time.
So, I mean, just boils down to what her real purpose of this conversation was. Her purpose of this response was. This had nothing to do with any concern about Sonya Massey, any concern about about her family, the grieving. I had no control over none of that. What this is about is a way to dig at Joe Biden, a way to present an opinion about Joe Biden. It has nothing to do with an innocent Black woman that was shot because she had a pot of boiling water. An innocent Black woman that was shot because she was directed to cut off a pot of boiling water. An innocent Black woman who was shot because she called the police to her home because she thought that there was an intruder, and she didn't realize that the police were the actual intruders. So I just wanted to drop this on you guys. I think it's just very interesting how, Candace and the conservatives just, make an attempt to twist the narrative, make an attempt to make you believe that something, just is a fact, and it's absolutely not. It's definitely not a fact. There's definitely no evidence to support any of her claims about police shootings. There's absolutely no evidence. And I challenge anyone in the comment section to find me some evidence that says that white people are more likely to be shot unarmed. White people are more likely to be shot by, more likely to be shot than unarmed Black people. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Let me know what you guys feel about not just Candace Owens' response to the Sonya Massey shooting, but your overall kind of feelings about the Sonya Massey shootings in general. So don't forget to like this video, subscribe to this YouTube channel, comment, let us know how you feel, let us know what you think about what we're doing, and share this channel, become a part of the conversation. And until then, I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.